Alright, guys. Today I have a pretty fun one. I did kind of tease it in my top 10 favorite levels in Rolling Sky video. You should go check that one out if you haven't. But today we are going to be checking out my top 15 Rolling Sky soundtracks because I just couldn't pick 10. And even then, there's still some honorable mentions at the end I'll mention later. So, in this video, I will play some of the soundtracks for you guys. The first one, I'm going to turn up my volume because it's Fireworks, bonus 55. So, I'll just start you guys off so you can listen. So the thing that I like about this level is the music here is really calm, and even though it's really calm, it's just really like relaxing. And even with this like beat drop, the louder part, I still just really love this soundtrack. It is definitely deserving of that top 15 in my opinion. And the reason this level just couldn't get me higher is it's a little annoying how quiet it is. Also, I would have loved to have the extended version of the soundtrack in the game, but this is actually the shorter version. The extended version of the song goes on for around, like, I don't know, I think a minute longer. It's really good. I wish we could have gotten that here. But, I mean, everything aside, this is an awesome soundtrack. And let's move on to our number 14 level. This level is just an honorable mention level, even though this is number 14. You saw this is an honorable mention in the last one I did. But have a listen to the first part of the soundtrack. Okay, so the reason that I love this soundtrack is because this is just an awesome one. You could totally bang your head to this one. Uh, the beat drop is awesome, and I really like this part of the music too. I don't know, it's just really catchy, and I honestly think that its bonus levels music is also pretty okay too. But this one is just so good, and I love this part too. This is definitely a real Mimi thing, and this music is just really good. I don't know, there's just something about it. I don't know. When I first heard the soundtrack back in 2020, I was like, I don't know, but it really warmed up to me, and I think it's just a really good soundtrack. So, I don't really have too much to comment on here. The only reason it's at 14 is because there's just better soundtracks, not because this is bad in any means. And it's also just the perfect volume. I don't know. This is just a really good soundtrack. What else can I say here? On to our number 13 spot. This is definitely a fan favorite level. Take a listen to this soundtrack. So, nuclear energy is co-creation level 15, pretty new level. I think I'm going to let this soundtrack speak for itself after I respawn, because I'm an idiot. Okay, so we're back in about the same location. And I'm just going to let the soundtrack speak for itself in a second, right about here. Okay, you have to admit, that was total kick-ass. Like, that sounded awesome with that bass drop, the beat. It's just amazing. Like, I I was really stunned by how good this soundtrack is. I'm just gonna say one thing. There have almost been 0 bad soundtracks, in my opinion, made by Minimax, and that just says something. They are awesome at like selecting soundtracks or like selecting the composers, because this soundtrack is probably one of the best in 2024. And I mean, 2024 isn't over, obviously, but yeah, this is an awesome soundtrack. Like, total just kick-ass soundtrack with the beat drop and everything. It's just really good. The only reason this isn't higher, once again, just like Steam Era, there's just better soundtracks, and like, I would have ranked this a lot higher a few months ago, probably. But let's move on to our number 12 spots. And yes, I know I did not perfect this level, I just didn't want to. As of the time of recording this is the newest main level, Kingdom War. I'm also just going to let the soundtrack speak for itself in a few seconds, but first I would like to say that this has nothing to do with music, but this level is just beautiful. This level has replaced one of my top 10 levels, if you saw that video, but this level came out after that video was recorded, so yeah. But I'm gonna let the soundtrack speak for itself, right about here. Okay, so this soundtrack, it just, it uses the like, it's just the way that it is structured, and like this part's really good. I don't know how I died there, but this part is just awesome with this beat drop right here, like dun, 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 dun. Like, it's just a really fun song to like hum along to, and you know, it's not one you could really bang your head to, I'll say, which is probably the thing holding it back from being a little bit higher, but I don't really care. And honestly, once Battle Bastions come out, I like that soundtrack too. Just couldn't make this list because it's not released. So I'm really excited to see Battle Bastion and its soundtrack. And the 2 sets of levels are just, they have really good soundtracks, especially this ending. Let's move on to our number 11 level. I think it may surprise you. Yeah, no, I lied. This definitely didn't surprise you if you saw my top 10 levels. But number 11, Game Zone. And I'm just going to let the soundtrack speak for itself right here. Let's go. Okay, so this soundtrack, this is a headbanger. This is probably one of the most headbanging songs in the game. Granted, this level is pretty new. There could be some recency bias going on, but there's another level on the list that could definitely prove me wrong for that. There's another part of this level I'll let speak for itself, but This level is just a headbanger, especially compared to Competition Park. I do not like Competition Park that much, especially its soundtrack. I think it's a little boring. Creo, no offense to you, you're really good. I can't wait for the Outlaw song for Westland, but I'm gonna let this speak for itself right here. This is just another example of a total kick-ass song. Like, I know I've used that phrase a lot, but like, a lot of these levels are. I don't know. I just awesome. I like fire beat drops and stuff like that, and I don't know. The effects also just add to the song, even though it's technically not part of the soundtrack. But like, I was just so sad when this level got delayed, but I guess it just gave me extra time to listen to the soundtrack. I was so happy when this level came out because this is literally a bop. So, and there's just one reason that it didn't make the top 10, and that is legitimately just because I had such a hard time picking between this one and the next one because they're both just so good. But ultimately, I went with Chronos as my next pick. Number 10, Chronos. Let me just use one word to describe this one. Kick-ass. Yeah, I know. I bet you didn't expect that. But this this music, this soundtrack, it goes so well with like a desert theme. Like it starts off with this like calming, relaxed, like time, like okay, okay. And then you get to hear this. And then this. Like no joke, my dad could probably play that on guitar, but it still sounds so cool. And then it goes back to this calling part and basically just the entire thing again. But you know what? We need the entire thing for a second time because that's just how good it is. And also the slow part right here where the music slows down right here, that's a pretty cool effect. And that's something we didn't see coming, I don't think. But yeah, this level's just a head banger, and it kind of has the same criteria as like Nuclear Energy and probably um, Game Zone, but this one just felt better, and I feel like I find myself humming this one to myself more than I do Game Zone, and I don't really know why. I just kind of vibe with this song. I think it's really cool, and maybe I just like the theme and stuff a little bit better, but I don't think so. I think this song is just really good, even though Game Zone is. So that's why this level made the top 10. On to our number 9. Our first out of 3 F777 songs. Ginny, the newest level in the game currently. And I'm a big fan of F777 songs. They're just really good. And when I saw that they were using Bandwagon for Ginny, I was super excited. I loved this soundtrack. I knew this soundtrack before it even came into the game, and I was rooting for them to use this one or another one, but this was the one that they used, and I was very happy with that. And I'm just, once again, going to let the soundtrack speak for itself a little right here. Yeah, so this level is just like you could headbang to this one. And it's also just like got a really nice mix of like that fast and slow. Like right here would be kind of considered a slower part, but like near the end is an incredibly fast part. And as someone who can play quite a few instruments, I always appreciate tempo changes and stuff like that. And also just good music. Like you could tell this song was not rushed. They definitely put a lot of time into this. Well, F777 that is. But this level soundtrack is just really good, and I'll never really get old of this, or this will really never get old. I'll never like really hate this soundtrack, I don't think, which is a really good thing about some soundtracks is that they have replayability, just like levels. Like even this level, I should say, has good replayability, even though it's a 2-star. The only thing I'd um, really say about Bandwagon, or Jenny, I guess, is that it's just a little short. Even though that is the duration of the song, I just wish it was a bit longer. I don't know, and that may just be a little nitpicky, but it's still number 9, so it's obviously doing something right. Let's move on to our number 8. Speaking of them already, our second F77 track. Look at that. Take a listen. Okay, so I'm going to just say one thing. When this level came out, I actually hated this soundtrack. The fact that it is number 8 on this list, Tribal Hunting, is awesome. So this song is Daydreaming by F777, and when this first came out, I was like, oh, this is boring. It just has the same stuff until 40%, like the but once you realize, like, it's honestly a banger. And there's no lasers in this level, which means it's like not overly loud, which is actually really nice. And there's no like screen shake, which makes this level feel a lot more relaxing, and the soundtrack as well. So even that little feature makes me like the soundtrack a bit more. But before this level was even released, I just found myself humming the soundtrack out in public. I was like, huh, this is actually really good. Why was I clowning on it? Like, do not put this level beneath you, or the soundtrack beneath you, because it's actually really good. And that's all I could say about this one. Let's move on to our number 7 pick. I actually didn't realize that I put all 3 F777 soundtracks in a row. Um, but yeah, this is One Up. And the F77 song is One Up. Take a listen. Okay, so this is the most headbanger song in the entire game, in my opinion, other than the number 1. Because number 1 is just good in all aspects, but this is the most headbanger song that is not my number 1 pick. It's because of this part. And it's even more headbanger in the end, too. Just, and like the drum beat, as a drummer, The drum beat is so good. I cannot get over how good it is with that part. And everything just flows so well together. And I will say this is the 2017 remix. I like the original version better, but this is still really good. Hold on. Yeah, I always die that. But as I was saying, this is the 2017 remix, not the just original. And I'm gonna say, I fell in love with the original as soon as I saw them post it. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna let the ending play us out. I was gonna let the ending play us out. Let's try this again. Awesome level, amazing soundtrack, best F777 soundtrack in the entire game. But let's move on to our number 6. Now, the number 6 pick is a little weird because I'm going to combine the Sea and SeaWorld because their soundtracks are almost identical. I'm just going to use this one because I like it a bit more. Now, let's give a listen to SeaWorld. Bass dropped, and this is probably the best part of the song if you want to just listen while I'm talking. But this song is so relaxing, and I obviously couldn't play Rolling Sky during 2020 because Android, but blah blah blah. And when I heard this soundtrack, I was like, dang, I can't play this level, and it sounds awesome. And I thought the same with the Sea too. These soundtracks are basically mirroring each other like Cube and Matrix, but that's fine. I don't really care because they're honestly awesome soundtracks. And I guess Tsunami could be counted here too, but I think that was a totally different one. That one's kind of bad. But these two are really good though. So props to the Cheetah Mobile team because these are made during the Cheetah Mobile era. And whoever made this soundtrack should have got a promotion because these are really relaxing and fit the theme of the ocean. So props to the makers of this song. I can't really say anything bad about it. It just couldn't make it higher because I like 5 others just a bit more. So let's move on to our top 5. And number 5 is a really good level as well. Okay, bonus 61. Foggy City. Another fairly new level, but what can I say? Minimax is awesome with these soundtracks, so what are you gonna do, you know? And the part of this level I'm gonna let speak for itself is coming up, so take a listen. Okay, this is the last time I'm gonna say this, but this is the last level on the list, in my opinion, is total kick-ass. Like, listen to this guitar, bro. Like, normally I'm not one for rock, but first of all, this is many different genres, as you're gonna hear coming up right here. It's also jazz, and I love jazz. So, this is a really awesome song here. It has so many genres in one that I feel like it just had to be placed at number 5. And then there's this like techno genre right here. It's awesome. And this song goes hard. There's gonna be a lot of people that are always like, I saw a lot of comments on the soundtrack videos like, another song that's good at the beginning and horrible at the end. What are y'all talking about? This level is awesome at the end. Like, listen to this. Music sync here too. I love music sync. More music sync. Yeah, I don't know what y'all are talking about. The end of this song is awesome, so yeah. This is just a song that goes hard. Probably the best song of 2024. Other than the number one pick, which I forgot is even 2024. So, on to our number 4 spot, which definitely is going to surprise some of you guys. You saw my top 10 level list. What? How could this be? My number 1 favorite level in the game has my 4th favorite soundtrack? I'll explain in a second. But first, take a listen. Okay, on to explaining. So, if my number 1 favorite level in the game doesn't have my favorite soundtrack, then what does? I don't know, you'll have to find out. But, the thing about this level soundtrack is it does get repetitive after a while. Maybe it's just because this is a 2023 level, and we're at level 70 now, and this is level 56. But, just because this level is number 4, I mean, there were levels at number 15, so this is not bad by any means. This is an awesome soundtrack. Like, right here, a bunch of the moving obstacles, it really matches, like, with the craziness of the soundtrack, and it's just a mix of jazz and, like, techno, 2 of my favorite music genres, which obviously is just really good. And this is also a headbanger. It's just, like I said before, the most headbanger song on this list is One Up. I do agree with that still. This is probably second most. Just because, like, why are you going to be banging your head like this? Like, you're not going to. So, and, I don't know why I'm going to mention Weekly Match here, but Weekly Match is just fun to play this. So, this level is just such a good level with an awesome soundtrack here at the end. I guess you get to hear a little bit of it again because I'm an idiot. But even though this is my favorite level, it's my 4th favorite soundtrack. What can I say? Alrighty, my number 3 pick is definitely going to surprise a lot of people. Lo and behold, Eternity, the only 1-star on this list. I was a little bit surprised when this was a 1-star, but anyway, this soundtrack is a really calming vibe, just like Chronos, because this is the bonus of Chronos. Really chill vibe you get from it, which is good. It should be for this type of level. And it's just a really calming song. You could sing along to it. But that's not the reason that I picked it for this list. No, I picked it for the later half of the song. So, like, the second half of the song. Because that is not a so calming thing. And the fact that it's not a calming part of the music, I think it actually very well represents a sandstorm. And since this level is all about sand, I feel like that's actually really, like, sand can be calm, but it can also be very dangerous and, like, harmful. So take a listen. Also, the theme changing sync is also awesome. I love the Tactic Core theme change things. So, that's something I was happy to see here. My number one pick also has that. But had this level not been about sand, this probably, it still would have been on the list, but this probably would have been like number 14. So the fact that it correlated so well with its theme is really, it's just awesome. Even though this is a great soundtrack still, without the theme, it just makes it even better. Let's move on to our number 2 pick. I feel bad for this level. Bonus 41, Interstar Leap, was also second place on my top 10 levels list. This level must be so tired of getting second, but I did say in my top 10 levels list that this is my second favorite soundtrack, and it is. So, I want to just say this is probably the most iconic song of 2023. It is the only song to get a remix in Eternal Journey that is from the Minimax era, which is cool. I think it deserved it. This is an iconic song in the Rolling Stone community. It's even in fan-made levels, like the Rest in Paradise, or Relief in Paradise. It's like an iconic song, iconic theme, and everything. And this is a head bopper for sure. It's still not the best one, but it is certainly a head bopper, in my opinion. And this part's really calm and relaxing too, also representing how space can be so calm, but also just fun and exciting traveling there. And that's another, this would have still been number 2 regardless of the theme, but that's just something cool that could correlate. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This would have been number 2 regardless of the theme surrounding it, because this is just an awesome song. And I love how they made changes here, just making it a key change instead of the original song, because the original song kind of sucks, so I'm glad they changed it. But take a listen here, this is probably the best part of the song. Okay, I do feel bad for this level. It's gone second place twice, but like, it's still good. Like, this level is so awesome. Music sync right here. And I'm really happy with how it turned out, especially because I think Horizon Cruise is like a C tier level. So the fact that its bonus is so much better than its main level is just so awesome. And let's move on to the number 1 pick, but before, I'm going to show you all some honorable mentions. So, unlike last time, I will actually be playing the levels because both of them are co-creation. But anyway, number 17, co-creation level. 13, Crescent Moonbeam. This is a really calming soundtrack, but it also just has like a vibe, you know, it just has that vibe. It's hard to describe, but, oh, bars, but, this is just a really nice, soothing level, and this is one of those levels that I also just did not like the soundtrack at first. I was like, oh, but once you, like, just get used to it, it's really awesome. Like, I used to love Brazil Carnival's soundtrack, and now it's like low A tier for me. So, and this probably would have been like a D tier soundtrack for me at first, but now it's in, like, almost in my top 15. So, that's really nice. And even this part coming up with the beat drop, this is the best part. And how about you guys take a listen, I guess. Okay, so yeah, that's Crescent Moonbeam, and it was really close to getting on this list. Same with the next pick, which I'll be showing in a second. But overall, it's not that this is a bad soundtrack whatsoever. There's just, like I said, better ones that I also didn't really hate at first. So I can't really put it on the 15, and so. But let's move on to 16, and then we'll get to number 1. Spot 16 on the list, almost made the 15, Beach Party Rock. Probably the most long-awaited co-creation level in 2024. And also the most drama-filled. We won't get into that. But this soundtrack is really calm. It also sounds like a 2016 tutorial song for like 5 Minute Crafts, but that's why it's good. No, I'm just kidding. This is just a really iconic soundtrack, I feel like. And I feel like if there were to be a most iconic soundtrack in 2024, this probably would be the song. I can't really think of a song that would be more iconic. So I think this is probably the, would be the most likely to get like a cameo in a birthday level, but we'll see. But that's not why I like it so much. It's just really fun. I don't know. Like it's just a really, I don't want to say busy soundtrack. It's just a really, there's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. This soundtrack is it's definitely a vibe. But I don't know what else I could say about this one. That's just how good it is. So I'll play the rest of the level for you guys, and you guys just get to enjoy the soundtrack here, I guess. I will briefly explain why this level did not make the top 15, and that is simply just because there was better soundtracks. Not that this level's soundtrack was bad by any means. I was really close to putting this level on the list, but last minute I decided to change it to my number, or other known as Fireworks. Now it's time to get to number 1, and this shouldn't surprise anyone. Alright, this should be a surprise to no one that my number 1 favorite soundtrack in the game is co-creation level 12, Moonlit Night Movement. I'm just gonna let you listen to the whole thing. So now I'll explain why this is my favorite soundtrack in the game, and more backstory. So, back when this level came out, it was early 2024, and people have been waiting for this bonus for around like 4 months at this point. So, very long awaited, and it did not disappoint. Like, I was legitimately banging my head while that song was playing. And I did already say that One Up was the best headbanger song other than number one, because number one has everything. It has the frequent theme changes, some music sync, which I love. It has, like I said, the headbang ability. It also just has the replay ability, which is something that I love a lot for a soundtrack. So that is why, as of now, August 5th, 2024, Moonlit Night Movement is my number one favorite soundtrack in Rolling Sky, excluding Alan Walker's soundtracks. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. But anyway, that's gonna do it here, guys. I hope you enjoyed this long video. This should be coming out on the same day as another long video, so y'all get to watch two 45-minute videos in one day. Yippee for you guys. No, but these are actually really fun to make, and I hope you guys enjoy both of these. And just remember, this was just my opinion. Y'all can have many different opinions, and I'd just like to know, what's your favorite soundtrack in Rolling Sky? Well, see you later. It's been me.